Readers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote. Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Break! This is When's World. Welcome.
Thank the Lord, the NFL season is back. And this week in When's World, we're doing it big time. We have fantasy football experts Andy and Tehol of Nickel Press TV. In addition, the great Larry WACHS adds his comic relief to this NFL season. Also, a brand new segment, a weekly segment featuring Radio Griff. We're going to go week by week with our predictions, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun along the way. It's not only NFL, folks. That's just the beginning. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Back in When's World, and we are with Nickel Press TV. You can check them out on YouTube, also on Twitter at Nickel Press TV, with Andy and Tehol. Connect with them on Twitter as well, at People's Pen and PeoplezPen and at Lord Beddict, BEDDICT. Welcome back to the show, guys. How are you?
Doing excellent. Ready for some real live game action this week. It's back.
That's right, we are back, and I'm so thankful to have you guys and your diverse opinions back in When's World. Let's take a look at Week 1 around the NFL and its fantasy implications. So what are some things that are really standing out in these Week 1 matchups?
So on our latest episode of Off the Record on Nickel Press TV, we had Dr. Seelan Parekh talk about the Jamal Charles injury, and his take on it really stood out to me. We've been hearing all week that Spencer Ware is going to be getting a lion's share of work, and going against the defense that would favor a running back matchup. There's talk about him being, true 3-down back. There hasn't really been much mention of Charkandrick West stealing much work from him, and Jamal Charles, from what the doctor that I trust has said, is not really close to being ready and may not play at all. So I'm looking at Spencer Ware as somebody that can really have a nice week to open the season.
That's good insight. What about you, Tehol?
Yeah, I like Ware. I mean, I also am looking at the Seahawks matchup here against the Dolphins. I'm not sold. I'm not aware of what they're going to be able to do to stop the run or the pass. I feel like this is going to be a blowout. I'm looking at Lockett. I'm looking at Baldwin. I mean, even Rawls and Christine Michael, even Luke Wilson in a pinch if you're desperate. DFS plays. I think I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at all the Raiders offensive players going against the Saints in New Orleans. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. Even at the kicker there, Janikowski, Seabass. He's up in my top 5 kickers on the week.
Now, when we're looking at the New England Patriots without Brady for the first 4 weeks, are you going to play any of your receivers that we drafted, let's say like an Edelman? Are you going to wait until Brady gets back taking snaps?
Tehol, you want to lead that one?
Yeah, man, no question. If it's Edelman, it definitely he's a must-start every week. I think Garoppolo's going to be fine. He's going to dial it in. Gronk obviously is a must-start no matter who, even if you got Matt Flynn at quarterback. It's not going to matter. If he's in there, it's a done deal. And then yeah, it's not a question. None of the other guys, though, certainly not. I mean, Amendola, I don't even know if he's going to play.
Right.
And Hogan, definitely not. But Edelman, yes, no question. He should get a ton of targets, maybe even more targets than normal because he's going to look to the safety blankets there. Both those guys should end up with 10-plus targets apiece in Week 1, I would assume.
Real quick, just to the Patriots
Sure.
thing. I like what Tehol said. I absolutely see the other side of it, though. There was some concerns with Garoppolo and Edelman being on the same page in their communication, and Gronk just poses a completely different target just in sheer size alone than an Edelman. So if you got Brady who knows where Edelman's going to be and can just throw to him without even looking, that's completely different than just seeing this, freak of a man named Rob Gronkowski, sitting there, whether he's got one guy on him or 10 guys on him. You're still going to give him an opportunity to throw him the ball. Where Edelman, it presents something a little different. I could see both sides of the coin for Edelman in Week 1. I personally think he's going to get off to a slow start this season, which means he'd be a prime guy to try to target in the trade going forward, like Week 2, Week 3.
Now, how are you guys feeling about the Vikings offense, given the transition as of late? Bridgewater obviously out for the year, and apparently Shaun Hill might get the start. It's going to be a decision made right before kickoff. What are you guys feeling about this Vikings-Titans matchup?
I firmly believe Shaun Hill will get the start. You might see some of Bradford. Even if you see Bradford, though, it's going to be a very plain offense, I would think. Bradford really doesn't know the full playbook yet. Not that it's probably that extensive. It's going to be a lot of Adrian Peterson. Which makes Tennessee kind of an intriguing defensive matchup for me this week if you're playing DFS and looking for something on the cheap.
Now, looking at this Cleveland-Philadelphia matchup, Corey Coleman definitely going to be a matchup nightmare for that vaunted Eagles secondary. And then on the other side of the field, we're looking at a rookie quarterback, only seen 20-something snaps in the preseason in Carson Wentz. What do you like and dislike in that matchup?
I like Terrell Pryor. I have him I think in the top 20. I'm the only fantasy pro dude who has him anywhere close to that. I think he's going to go off and get at least one TD bomb. Probably the secondaries with the corners are weak. Safeties are fine, but the corners are weak. I think he's going to go off. Coleman should have a good game. I know they're going to try to run the ball, but I think Pryor gets 6-8 targets and converts some of that into some payday there. And then Wentz, I'm not touching that at all, but it depends on what they throw. I mean, I have him very low this week. I'm not feeling that at all. I kind of wait and see approach on him, see what kind of goes on there. But that's nothing I'm interested in, not even in like a 2-quarterback type thing. I know it's not a matchup. I mean, even in Cleveland's defense, they do have some nice corners there. I think it's going to be a tough day for him.
Now, Andy, just a second on that Browns-Eagles matchup. Do you like DGB as a red zone threat for Philly?
I mean, how can you not like him if he's on the field? I just wonder, is he going to be on the field? I don't love him. He kind of touchdown dependent for me, and I'm not sure that Wentz is ready mentally to be the starter. So I have some concerns. I mean, overall, the physical package, if you're looking at Sam Bradford and you're looking at Carson Wentz, I'd rather roll Wentz out as well. So I can understand them just saying, hey, listen, we got this guy here. We've moved up to get him, and we can get something of value for Bradford now. Let's do it. I totally get that. But if the trade didn't present itself and Bradford was still with the Eagles, I would imagine he'd be starting. That just shows and indicates to me that Wentz is not in for a big week, a big opening to his career. And I would be, as Tehol mentioned, I'd be staying away from him as well.
And again, if you're just joining us, we are with Andy and Tehol of Off the Record. And the name of their show, Nickel Press TV. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter at Nickel Press TV. And, of course, Andy's personal Twitter at People's Pen, PeoplezPen. If you had a chance to pick up any defense this week, who would you choose and why?
Oh, any defense.
Any defense.
Any defense. Probably be the Texans, based on their being at home. They have solid defense all around. I know, J.J. Watt steals most of the spotlight, and he's not even going to be a major factor But you still got other highly capable players there. And they're playing a Chicago Bears offense that is really kind of an enigma right now.
Yeah.
Not really sure what to make of the Bears offense. I mean, you look at Kevin White and Alshon Jeffrey as the receivers. You look at Jay Cutler in his career, and he's, proven to be a capable NFL quarterback despite what you think of him. Jeremy Langford's a, popular pick in some circles, to be a running back one this year. But you can easily look and say this team is going to be horrible or this is going to be a source of some fantasy goodness. So I just think it's a tough matchup for them on the road to open the season. As I mentioned, Houston is a team that, has desires to win that division and has put themselves in line to do that. And I just don't see it being a very favorable matchup or week one outcome for the Bears in Houston.
Oh, man, sage insight here from Andy and Tehol. We lost Tehol a minute ago, but Andy's faithful to stick with us. Thank you so much, man. From Off the Record, a show, Nickel Press TV. Subscribe on Twitter and follow the conversation as well at Nickel Press TV on Twitter and at Lord Benedict and at People's Pen, and Z instead of an S there in the middle of the P and the P. Thank you so much for your time, guys. We appreciate you.
No problem. Appreciate you having us.
Friends, stick with us. Right after this break, we are back with our brand new segment with Radio Griff. NFL week-by-week news, insight, and a little bit of nonsense along the way. Stick with us.
Break! Hey everybody, this is Jenny McCormick Earhart, inviting you to join me every Saturday at 1 o'clock on the Southern Sisters Radio Show, the show for Southern women and the men who adore us. We talk about everything from life in the South to food in the South to romance in the South. So hit me up at my website, southernsistershome.com, or follow me on Facebook. I'm in Wyn's World, and I love it.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
I'm Amber Berry with Crazy Healthy Radio. Come visit me at Westside Yoga on Howell Mill Road in the month of September, and your first week is free for new students. It's National Yoga Month, and we would love to meet you on the mat. I'm in Wyn's World, and I love it.
This is Dennis Prager, and I am in Wyn's World, and I love it.
Hey, KLRN family. What you're about to hear was recorded last week. So what I want you to do is look back and see how accurate our predictions were. This will be fun. Back in Wyn's World, and it is time for the NFL to get underway. And with me now is a man that I met at the Hyper Hetero Sauna at Curves Fitness.
Hey, don't tell people that.
I'm sorry. For the sake of full disclosure, with me now is the great Griff on Twitter at Radio Griff. Griff, welcome to Wyn's World. How are you, brother?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So we want to kind of take a different spin to the whole season this year. I want to get some things that are on the forefront and maybe on the back burner in your mind, things you're excited about this 2016 NFL season.
Things I'm excited about. I'm excited about the Cowboys and Tony Romo being terrible again.
Amen to that.
He's getting hurt. I love it. I'm a big 49ers fan, So I'm excited to see your old boy Chip Kelly come in, see what he can do. I mean, anything's an improvement over the gym coach we had last year as our head coach, Jim Tomsula.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. To be excited about. What do you think?
On my end of the field, I really love the starting quarterbacks. 2 of 3 mainline rookies are going to be starting, 2 in the NFC East alone. Dak Prescott for the Dallas Cowgirls. Yeah. And, of course, I'm hopping on the Wentz wagon in Philly. I'm a big believer in that, mainly because I have to be now that Bradford was shipped off to Minneapolis in the wake of Teddy Bridgewater's season-ending injury, rather. One of the surprises to me is the hype around Jared Goff and how he's second or third in rank.
He's going to be inactive this week.
I don't really understand that. What's the point, right? I mean,
if you're going to waste a first-round pick, number 1 pick on this guy, and you don't even play him.
Yeah.
I mean, Case Keenum, that's their starter, right?
Oh, God, that's terrible.
I mean, how bad can Goff be? Why not just play him and see what happens?
It's hard to make the case for Case. You know what I mean? Especially, your first year out in L.A., you move from St. Louis, and your first-round draft pick, the number 1 overall in the whole draft, is sitting not with any pads on either. He might not even. He'll have a clipboard in hand and some headphones on, but that's it. Right. So those are the surprises that I'm really looking forward to seeing how they unfold. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan. Griff here is a Niners fan, so it's going to be interesting to see, as you mentioned, how Chip Kelly's offense works in San Fran in the wake of the whole Colin Kaepernick situation. But I don't know. Well, that's what remains to be seen. But let's get some predictions this year. We're going to keep track, and it'll be fun. And, of course, you can tag along on Twitter at Wens World Radio. Tag us at Radio Griff and at Wens World Radio. And give us your predictions and some feedback if you want to diss us, if you want to love us, whatever. We'll take it all at the same time. So going down the line here, Atlanta's own Falcons hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who you got in this one?
Jameis and the Bucks, baby.
Famous Jameis. The Crab Claw himself.
Falcons are terrible. They're a dumpster fire of a team. They're just going to be mediocre again. I think this is Jameis's breakout year. You got Mike Smith as the DC now, former Falcons coach. And Dirk Cutter. I mean, it's the Bucs are going to take it to the Falcons.
Great insight there, Prodigy. Great insight there, Radio Griff on Twitter. I'm going to go with the visiting Buccaneers as well. I think their team is just too strong. They got really close to being a good team last year, and I think this year they're going to capitalize on opportunities. All right, Browns at Eagles. What say you?
Oh, man. I think I'm going to make you happy with this. I think the Eagles pull it out. It's in Philly, right?
Yeah.
The Browns, RG3, the Browns are just terrible. It doesn't even seem like they're trying this year. They want Deshaun Watson. They want the number 1 pick next year. So, I think the Eagles, even with this quarterback who's never played in front of more than 10,000 people, Carson Wentz.
North Dakota.
Yeah. I think they pull it out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. This year, surprisingly, the Browns named RG3 as a captain. And it's interesting to note that back in Washington, he didn't get any love in the locker room. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting how it unfolds, and I'm with you on...
That just shows how bad the team is. You have to have a guy like RG3 as your captain.
Yeah,
there's no one else. Yeah. Who is there?
I'm kind of interested to see how Corey Coleman, that burner wide receiver, plays this weekend. I think he's going to be a matchup nightmare for the Eagles secondary. But I do think, despite playing only 23 snaps in the preseason, Carson Wentz will lead the Philadelphia Eagles to victory there. Bengals at Jets. Who you got?
Who cares? What a boring... This is one of those games that you get on CBS, and you're like, this is the game they're giving me this week? I don't want to watch this. I mean, Andy Dalton. I mean, the Bengals are going to be a good team this year. But they're boring. There's just nothing sexy about them. But yeah, I think the Bengals will beat the Jets. Jets, they're a mess, I think. Bengals got it.
Well, Big Red versus Harvard's finest. I definitely think Big Red leads the Bengals to victory against the Jets there. So I think we both have Cincinnati in that matchup. Moving on down to the Raiders at the below sea level Saints. What say you?
It's the Raiders, baby. The Saints, I think they're much like the Falcons, just kind of a mediocre team. Drew Brees just re-signed in extensions. I mean, that's all they got, though. Who's he throwing the ball to? And a bunch of these, like, journeyman type guys.
You talking about New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Cooks had a decent year. They have not really a star player anymore. I mean, since Jimmy Graham left, I think that leaves a big offensive hole to fill. And
where did he go?
He went to, Seattle. It's like he's in one of those pot shops and he never left. I can't understand. He's a fantasy nightmare. Last year, I think he averaged like 4 or 5 points in non-PPR leagues, so that'll be interesting as well to take note of as the season progresses. San Diego at KC, and KC, of course, without Jamal Charles week 1. That could be kind of a big deal for Sharkhandrick West.
The Chiefs, once again, they'll be a solid team, lose in the first or second round of the playoffs. It's at Arrowhead, hard place to play. The Chargers... They don't have much going on for them, I don't think. I think the Chiefs pull it out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Bills at Ravens. This will be an interesting matchup, I think.
Do you
realize
this is one of those games where I'm just no interest whatsoever. Bills and Ravens, Joe Flacco and Rex
Taylor.
Ryan and Tyrod Taylor.
Meh.
I think Ravens will win. They seem to be the better team on paper. It's in Baltimore. I think they'll pull it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that one also. I think Flacco's going to have a strong first few games before he gets hurt again. We'll see how that pans out. All right, Chicago at Houston. What say you? Is the Cutlet going to throw some picks or what?
Oh, of course he's going to throw picks, man. And I love Houston. I think this is a breakout. This is the year they finally maybe win that division, make a little run. They got Brock. He's fired up, got a little chip on his shoulder from being benched when Peyton with no arm came back and played. They got some good wideouts, a good running game now. I like the Titans. Texans.
Big money Brock there. I mean, he has a lot to prove, but they believe in him, and I kind of do too. Being that tall, big, he can spread the field out, and if he needs to, run for 5 or 6 yards, get down and slide, and don't get hurt. I'm with you on that one. I definitely think Houston takes the cake in that matchup. Potentially the matchup of the week here, Packers at Jaguars. I don't know. This is going to be a barn burner, a slobber knocker, JR style. What do you think?
Yeah, it could be a high-scoring game. Two high-powered offenses.
Yeah.
If the Packers have any receivers. It seems to, Jordy's supposed to be back. Randall Cobb's kind of iffy. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, I think the Packers overall, they're just a better team. They're one of the favorites to win the NFC. And I think they'll take it to Jacksonville.
I'm with you on the high-scoring affair. I think we'll probably see a totality of 50, 55 points in this matchup. Randall Cobb probably going to be the go-to in the wake of last year's ACL tear by Jordy Nelson. I'm interested to see how Jordy bounces back, but I don't think he's going to get a ton of looks this week. I think Randall Cobb will be the burner down the sideline there. Going down, Miami at Seattle. Oof.
Why are they even wasting airfare to go out that far to Seattle? Seattle's going to destroy them, I think. I mean, no. Seattle's got it. Easy.
You know what? I'm gonna take Miami in the upset in week 1.
We have to disagree somewhere.
Yeah, at some point we're gonna have to differ here. I think Tannehill's gonna have a really good game. I think they're gonna throw a lot of screen passes. I think Seattle's gonna get caught with their pants down in this matchup. Moving on down, the Giants and Cowboys. This is a win-win for me because, I mean, hell, if somebody gets hurt, it's a win for Eagles fans.
I think the Dak Prescott, baby. He's looked good. He's going to take it to Eli and the Giants. It's in Dallas at Jerry World. I think the Cowboys are going to, take it.
I do too. Eli's offensive line is just horrendous again. And look,
who's their coach? This guy that got off the streets? He was like the former OC or something. Now he's the Giants head coach.
We don't even know who the coach. It's not going to be a good year.
Right.
When at Radio Griff and at Wins World Radio doesn't even know who the coach is. Wasn't their offensive coordinator, right? Last year?
Their OC, but he's some nondescript. No one really knows him.
And it's not going to be some mind-blowing game plan that defenses are going to be scratching their heads about. They've seen it over
for the past decade.
And over again. So I'm with you there. I'm taking Big D in Big D. All right, Detroit at Indy. This is going to be kind of a high-scoring game also, I think. What say you at Radio Griff?
Yeah, I think it could be a high-scoring game. I think I'm looking forward to seeing Andrew Luck back. I think the Colts are going to be another solid team, compete with the Texans for that division. And the Lions, I mean, yeah, they can score some points, but I just don't think they're a very good team. I think the Colts will win that game.
I'm looking for a 2, possibly 3 touchdown game out of rookie Marvin Jones for Detroit. I think Stafford's going to be another high roller in the fantasy leagues. But at the end of the day, that Detroit defense is soft as a grape. And look, Andrew Luck throwing to Dante Moncrief and T.Y. Hilton. It's going to be a big year for Luck and company. He has a lot to prove in the wake of last year's unsuccessful attempt. Patriots at Arizona. This is going to be a really good matchup, I think. What do you think about this one?
Oh, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this game. And I don't know if I totally buy the Cardinals. I'm seeing lots of experts pick the Cardinals to win the NFC this year and go to the Super Bowl, maybe even win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
To me, they just seem to be a team that, like the Braves in the 90s, if we go to baseball, they'll win the division. They might win the league, but are they really going to... They don't seem like a team that can clinch it to me. And I think the Patriots, man, they got a chip on their shoulder. They're pretty ticked off about this whole Brady and Goodell mess. I think Jimmy's going to step in and be fine. And I think the Patriots are going to go to Arizona and win this game.
Wow. What, 3 points, 6 points? What are you thinking?
A 3-point game. Yeah. Sounds right.
Okay. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take the Cardinals at home. I'm not really sold on JG and Tom Brady, man. I mean, he is what makes the Patriots what they are. But then again,
Bill Belichick makes the Patriots.
I was going to say
anyone can play quarterback and win for the Patriots.
Well, and I think you're right on that level because, look, you can plug and chug in that offense. Week to week, you can't really rely on any New England Patriot to get you points in your fantasy leagues because there's always a different game plan. One week you'll see LeGarrette Blount run 20 times, the next week maybe 3 or 4. James White, same thing there. Receivers, he can take a Julian Edelman, a guy that would possibly be too small to play point guard in the NBA, and make him a Pro Bowler. So I'm going to go still with the home team here. I think Arizona has a lot to prove after last year's disappointing loss in the playoffs. I think Palmer threw 3 or 4 picks that game. I think he's going to come out with some piss and vinegar this year. And we'll pick more of this up after the break. We'll be back in Wens World after this.
Hey, this is the Deeds, the sales energizer. And like you, I'm in Wens World. It's a frightening place, but we're here. This is what I want you to do. Listen to the show, the whole show. And then when you're done, go to my website, remedysalesmatch.com. Fill out the subscription form for the newsletter, and I will send you a free book that's going to change your life. The Hitchhiker's Guide to Guaranteed Success. Do it after the show.
Yes, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us, folks, here in Wens World with Radio Griff on Twitter. And, of course, we are finishing up our predictions and insight for Week 1. All right, a doubleheader Monday night as they usually do to open up the NFL season. First, Pittsburgh at Washington.
Yeah, another kind of game.
The man of the week.
Kirk Cousins, I kind of like him.
Yeah.
I like his attitude.
Him too. Yeah.
But the Steelers, I think they're a legit team, going to be contending with the Patriots and some others maybe to win the AFC. So, I think the Steelers pull this one out.
Despite not having Le'Veon Bell for the first 3 weeks.
Dirty Burger, he'll be okay. He's going to pull it out.
I'm going to go... I'm going to go with the home team here. I think Cousins pulls out a game-winning drive, and he dances off into the sunset until next week. I really like that offseason signing. I think Deshaun Jackson's going to have a breakout year this year. Last year was kind of held in somewhat check there.
I hope so. He's on my fantasy team. So.
That's awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get at Radio Griff's division winners this year. Starting first with the American Football Conference, and let's start in the AFC East. Who do you think's going to win this year?
Oh, it's the Patriots. They're ticked off, and they're going to go maybe 3-1 with Jimmy. Brady's going to come back. They're going to go 12-0 with Brady.
Whoa, 12-0 with Mr. Deflategate.
Yeah.
Woo! Those
He's ticked. He wants a one for the thumb, right?
He
wants one more ring, and just stick it to Goodell.
Thomas Brady, one for the thumb. I love it. # one for the thumb. I'm going to agree with you. I hate agreeing with that because I hate the freaking Patriots. I agree with you. I don't think they'll go 12-0 when he gets back, but I mean, really close, maybe 9-3, 10-2. But I think the Patriots win that division. AFC North, of course, we were talking about the Bengals earlier. I think their only significant competition is Dirty Ben, right?
Yeah, it's the Bengals or the Steelers in that division. The Ravens might give either one of them a little bit of a run. Browns are trash.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers pull it out. They're just a superior team overall, I think.
I think the Browns have like 16 rookies starting this year. So one of the youngest teams in the whole league. It's going to be insane to watch how all that molds together. All right, AFC South. Oh, this is a tough division because there are 3 decent teams right here. We're looking at Jax, Indy, and Houston. What say you at Radio Griff?
Right, I like the Colts. I think the Jaguars are a little better. I really like what Tennessee's building down there. I think their running game and Marcus Mariota, I mean, they've got it going. I think they're going to be good. But I think this is the Texans' breakout year. They finally do it with Brock. Great coach in Bill O'Brien. He's like a quarterback whisperer. I think the Texans are going to pull off this division.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with Indy here. I like Jacksonville originally, but the more I think about Indy, and it could have something to do with that, I have 2 of their receivers on my fantasy team, so I'm wishful thinking there. I'm going to go with Indy to win the division, but it's going to be really close. I think it comes down to week 16 or 17 there. Last but not least, AFC West, the world champion Broncos. Are they going to defend that title or what?
Oh yeah, they'll win the AFC West for sure. I don't think I think the Raiders might be the next best team in that division. Some people are picking the Raiders to win the division.
Wow, that's huge. That's a slap in the face.
Right.
If you're Denver, I mean,
right.
I'm kind of feeling Kansas City this year. I think the Walrus is going to lead.
Fest.
Yeah, you know what? I like what they did last year. They snuck into the playoffs. They played well. They got beat, but I still think that Andy Reid has something to prove. I'm going to go out on a limb and pick the Chiefs there. All right, now let's move it over to the best conference, of course, in the NFC. Because let's start first with the NFC least. Who you got?
I really like the Redskins this year. I think Kirk Cousins, big year for him. He's fired up. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, they'll be a solid team. But, without Tony Romo is the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the guy. He seems to win, and he's not going to play. So you got to go with, I think, the Redskins and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, huge offseason signing there, shoring up Kirk Cousins for a couple more years. You know what? I'm going to go with my Birds. I think the Eagles.
What?
I think the Eagles are going to win that division. I think Dallas is going to be good, but they're not going to be great. I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to have a lot of help from that offensive line, but there's a lot of question marks at quarterback position. I mean, for the love of God, they signed Sanchez, so things aren't that great in case Prescott gets hurt. Look, he's a runner, and we all know what happens to running quarterbacks. Their careers aren't that long. So we'll see how that works out. I think Zeke is going to have a huge year behind that huge offensive line, but I'm going to go with EAGLES there. NFC North. Vikings and Packers and Lions, the only three I can see contending for that title. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I think it's between the Packers and the Vikings. I think the Packers, they just have more experience, and they're going to pull out winning the division. But I like what Minnesota's doing, and apparently in Minnesota, they really believe this might be the year, considering they traded a first-round pick for Sam Bradford.
Ugh.
This guy keeps getting passed around and getting traded for high pieces. It's incredible. So the Vikings might give him a battle, but Packers pull it out.
Well, it's interesting to note that Minnesota said they're not going to name the starter for Sunday's game until right before kickoff. I'm really surprised you're willing to give up a first round and a potential second round the year to follow if you make the Super Bowl. There's a contingency on that whole trade. Yeah. But you're just giving away a first round pick. Obviously, if you're desperate, you need to do what you need to do to get a quarterback. But the fact that they're entertaining Sean Hill starting week 1 despite Sam Bradford.
It's not happening.
I really want to know what's going to happen with that chemistry. They have this dank wide receiver. I can't remember his name. What's the guy that...
Diggs?
Yeah, Stephon. The chemistry between Diggs and Bradford isn't what it was going to be between Teddy and Diggs. Right? So I'm interested to see how that works out. I'm going to go with the Packers only because of the uncertainty of the Minnesota Vikings quarterback situation. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, discount double check. You can't go wrong with that guy. He just knows how to win. He's like the Brady of the NFC.
Much to my chagrin, he does. I hate the Packers. I hate them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They're a great team to hate. I think a lot of people can be on board with that. All right. NFC South. This is almost as least as the least of the East, but... You picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier on to maybe possibly win this division, just based on this first matchup.
I think they're going to have a good year. Maybe they get a wild card spot. Famous Jameis has a great season this year, finally. But no, the Panthers, unless Cam gets hurt. Cam gets hurt, okay, they don't win. But if everything stays status quo, Panthers run away with this division. They might not lose a division game.
Yeah.
Who are they going to lose to?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they've split with Atlanta, right? Did they split with Atlanta last year?
I think so.
Yeah. But year to year, last year is last year, and it's last year for a reason. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and go with the defending NFC champion Carolina Panthers. Look, I'd like to say that Tampa Bay is going to put it all together, but come on, let's get real. The Saints, maybe an 8-win team despite shoring up Drew Brees for, 3 more years, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Atlanta, let's get real. They're terrible. Their best days are behind them. Now going out to your neck of the woods here, the NFC West.
Oh, yeah.
At Radio Griff, what are you thinking about this, man? This is a really fun division to watch this year.
It's going to be interesting. The Rams are in L.A. That's kind of sexy and cool and fun.
Yeah.
Seattle's always good. Niners, Kaepernick chaos, Chip Kelly, lots of craziness. Cardinals are supposed to be a favorite to maybe win the whole league this year, win the Super Bowl. And I'd love to come on here and say, Chip Kelly is going to, in his first year, turn around the San Francisco 49ers. Colin Kaepernick's going to eventually be starting games, and he's going to return to glory, and they're going to win the NFC West, just like those old Harbaugh years a few years ago. But I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. I think they'll be 8-8, and I think the Cardinals, they'll win this division. yeah, they'll pull it out over Seattle.
Okay, like a game or two?
Yeah, I think it'll be close. Okay. But I think the Cardinals will do it.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and go with the Seattle Seahawks. I think last year's early exit kind of put them on the back burner, and I think they deserve more respect than they're getting. I like the Cardinals, but I think at the end of the day, Seattle's going to shore up some positions. And look, Carson Palmer last year proved that he's maybe not as good as he needs to be in the postseason. I think regular season, he's really solid, but we'll see. I mean, I might be wrong. All right, so we have your division winners.
Yes.
You got winning it all. Let's just go. Let's skip ahead. We don't know what the playoff picture will look like. Let's just skip to the end. Let's skip to February 2nd or whatever.
I think in the end, you're going to see Tom Brady, the New England Patriots, defeat. Does it matter who they defeat? Probably the Packers, maybe the Cardinals. It doesn't matter. Brady's going to be on that podium, and he's going to win it all. One for the thumb, stick it to Goodell. And you know what? He might walk away right then, like Peyton did this past year, and just say, you know what? I can still play at peak performance, but I'm walking away right now just because I can. Suck it, Goodell. And then Jimmy's going to start next year for the Patriots, and they're going to go like 14-2. And it's just going to be this never-ending dynasty, and Bill Belichick's going to live forever.
I like it. I think we could turn this into a movie franchise. I'm going to go on a slightly different perspective here. I think Green Bay beats Kansas City.
Oh, how boring would that be?
It is a stink fest. I think I'd rather watch Dancing with the Stars or something. Yeah. And it might be on TV at that point. So you heard it here first, folks. We're going to look back on this weeks from now. At Radio Griff on Twitter, at Wens World Radio. The great Griff has New England winning it all. And of course, the Wens here. I got to go with Green Bay. I hate to do it, but they're just so damn good when it counts.
Right.
So we'll see how that works. Of course, follow Griff on Twitter at Radio Griff, at Wens World Radio, and we'll be back next week to look back on our first week picks and look ahead to week 2. So a heavy dose of fantasy football here in Wens World, back with the great Larry WACHS. And it made me think of this giant mistake I made last year because I was trying to be too nice. Mm-hmm. I had Romo on my bench, and I traded him for Demaryius Thomas because a buddy in my league needed a quarterback. Mm-hmm. The following week was when he got injured.
Wow.
So I won. I felt bad. I actually offered to give him his receiver back because I felt like I sold him a crappy car. He couldn't even get out of the driveway.
Dude, what are you doing?
I know. I have too much of a heart when it comes to fantasy football. I need to be ruthless.
Exactly. That's the nature of the game. This is a safe place to be ruthless. Nobody's going to die.
Yeah, well.
No time to go soft.
Yeah.
Don't be soft knocks. Don't go all soft knocks on me. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? You feel bad about deals where they go bust for the other side? You're never going to survive. You're never going to win. Why are you playing fantasy football if you're going to do stuff like that?
That's why I was in last place. I was terrible.
I'm offended. I'm going to call a commissioner, have you drummed out of the... You should be banned from playing fantasy football for that move.
Actually, the trade was with the commissioner, so that might have something to do with it. I was worried about my stake in the long term.
Wow, what a tyrant this commissioner is.
He's a good guy, but
he's like who's your commissioner? Hillary Clinton? She's going to roll you under the bus have you assassinated?
If you cross the Clinton, you might as well.
Wow, the Clinton Syndicate League,
the Death March.
Oh my God! Did he send you threatening emails?
The problem is I'm mixing friends in football. You have no friends in a fantasy league. Your friends are your enemies.
My approach to fantasy football is the same as my approach to radio. Take no prisoners. Everybody I hate. They're my enemy. I'm a hate-based player. That's the way I am. I get in a mindset of hating my opponents. Hate. It's the only way to do it. General George S. Patton taught me that.
Media and fantasy football, cutthroat.
The second you think about their feelings, that's when you start to lose.
I guess I was losing week 1 last year.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm going to give you an injured Tony Romo for a top-notch running back. Deal with it. Oh, your feelings are hurt? You feel bad? It's your problem.
You know what pissed me off last year, Larry?
What's that?
Last year, I was on the couch with the wife, and she's in the same league I'm in. And I mentioned that I was going to pick up Darren Sproles off the wire. Because
is she a fantasy football person?
We get serious.
Oh, good. Okay. So you
found a great
compatible mate.
Yeah. And she kicked my ass last year because she's ruthless.
You?
Oh, yeah.
Your wife beat you in fantasy football.
It was very emasculating. It was terrible.
Are you joking or are you admitting
No,
this?
I'm being dead. So she ended up all the guys in the league ended up in the bottom 4. All the girls ended up in the top 4.
All right. Well, you're and the scales are falling from my eyes. This is just...
It's revealing. I feel like I have Tom Brady's haircut right now.
Who's wearing the pants? Who's wearing the Tom Brady haircut in the family?
I am. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing...
Yes, you are.
She stole Darren Sproles from right under my thumb, man. And I was mad, but she's like, well, you shouldn't have told me about it. But that was in trust that you wouldn't steal my player. This is football. Deal with it. I let other people's feelings dominate what I do. Okay. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's really a weakness. It's a weakness. That's all there is to it. And I think it's
so here's my solution.
Okay.
Stop doing it. If you don't like what's happening, stop doing it.
Change it. Yeah. No, you're right. Since that time, I haven't told her any of my ideas for this year. I almost did this. She's like, don't tell me because I'll steal it. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
But she's honest. She's the most forthright, blunt. She's my biggest friend and my biggest critic. She tells me the truth. When stuff sucks on my show, she tells me.
She's kicking your ass, though.
Well, in fantasy football, yeah.
Right. Here's your goal this year. Beat her. Humiliate her.
When we play, I'm going to.
You want to make it so big that the divorce might be a possibility. Don't be afraid. She'll use that as a cudgel to get you to succumb to her wishes. When I'm talking about psyops, mind psyops, this is what I do. I try to humiliate my opponents so much that they want to kill me.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, they want to beat me over the head. I don't care. I'm not going to fall in line.
I like it.
Yeah, you want to make your wife want to divorce you by the season's end. That's how badly you're going to beat her. Got it?
And under this leadership principle, I think I can do it.
That's what leadership is. It's leadership.
I feel like my testicles have descended finally.
Yeah, I hear them.
You heard the thud.
Hear that? They're descending. Mine are descending because I feel like I'm giving good advice. I'm creating a man.
Yeah, you're my sage, man.
That's right.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Back in Wen's World with Wen's World's very own sensei, the great Amber Berry of Westside Yoga right here in Atlanta. Welcome back, Amber. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Joey.
And you know what? I was so privileged earlier this week to spend time with you and the master of the diamond cutter himself, the great DDP.
I know. He was in studio taping the next episode of Crazy Healthy Radio with me. If you're available Sunday at 12:30 p.m., you can tune in to hear my interview, or you can listen anytime after the show on SoundCloud at Crazy Healthy Radio.
And, of course, you can connect with Amber on Twitter.
At Crazy Healthy, and I'm on Instagram at Crazy Healthy Amber.
And, of course, you can connect to the SoundCloud portion of her show from her website.
CrazyHealthyAmber.com.
All right, so let's hook them.
Okay.
What are they going to be hearing from the great Diamond Dallas Page this Sunday at 12:30 on Biz 1190?
Okay, so Joey, I have to confess that I have not watched a lot of wrestling in my time. I knew who Diamond Dallas Page was, but when we met this past summer, I realized that he and I are very aligned in how we use yoga and rehabilitation techniques to help people get healthy that might think that fitness is not accessible to them. So people that are struggling with their weight, some people battling obesity, people who are recovering from injury. And Dallas has actually created a program called DDP Yoga that has transformed hundreds of lives. And he has a performance center here in Smyrna. So we'll be talking about how he is applying his unique brand of yoga to make a difference for people around the world.
I'm so excited to get Diamond Cutted this Sunday at 12:30 on Biz 1190. And, of course, anytime on demand, Crazy Healthy Radio on SoundCloud. Amber, I'm so stoked to listen to this, and I cannot wait to hear this interview with you and the great Diamond Dallas Page.
Thanks, Joey.
All right, and now the moment everybody's been waiting for, our crazy healthy tip of the week.
Hey, y'all. Amber here from Crazy Healthy Radio with your health tip of the week. So you want to get in shape, you're trying to work out, and somehow it's just not clicking. If what you're doing right now isn't working for you in the way you want it to, think about changing the story. I know that I used to think that in order to be healthy, I had to work out 4 times a week for an hour. But then as my life became busier and I took on more responsibilities, I had a hard time scheduling those 4 hours into my week. And what I did was start breaking it up into smaller portions. If I couldn't fit an hour of exercise in, I would do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at lunch, 20 minutes in the afternoon, and 20 minutes before I went to bed. And I was still getting my full hour without having that commitment of having to schedule it on my calendar. So remember, getting healthy is a journey. It happens one step at a time. And if what you're doing now isn't working, then you can always change the story and try something new. Connect with me on Twitter at Crazy Healthy and on the internet at crazyhealthyamber.com. And come visit me at Westside Yoga and Atlanta Integrative Medical Center. We are on Howell Mill Road, right next to 75. And September is National Yoga Month. So if you'd like to take some classes with us, your first week is on us. I'm in Wens World and I love it.
Yo, Monkey, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of Bada Bing, the master of the diamond cutter, the three-time world champion and CEO and founder of DDP Yoga. And you, Monkey, you're listening to Wens World. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Bang!
This is Larry WACHS of the world-famous WACHS Modcast, Atlanta's #1 smartphone radio show on iTunes and Google Play. But that's nothing compared to Wens World.
So what does the great Larry WACHS think about Tom Brady's new haircut?
All right, I see you've put up a picture of Tom Brady and his new haircut. Is that it? Is that the...
That's the new do.
Is that what's going on? It's not an old picture. This is his current do.
Oh, this is it, yeah.
His last do was a Bieber, a modified Bieber.
A modified Bieber, yeah.
But this looks like a departure from Bieber. Okay, I'm going to play word association. You ready?
Yeah.
Say Tom Brady's haircut.
Tom Brady's haircut.
Kathy Rigby. It looks like Olympic gymnast Kathy Rigby, who later went on to play Peter Pan on Broadway. So he looks kind of like a girl boy.
It does have that boyish charm.
It's a girl boyish charm. Some people are saying, what is this, a picture of Megyn Kelly you're showing me now? Yeah, okay. No, Megyn Kelly actually looks less feminine than Tom Brady. I never, what is going on here? Is this a result of Tom Brady being upset with his suspension? He's lashing out and he's trying to go Bruce Jenner to get some sympathy?
You know, it's funny you mentioned Bruce Jenner because his picture actually popped up when I Googled Tom Brady haircut.
It did.
Yes.
Isn't that telling? Isn't that telling? You Googled what now? Tom Brady's haircut.
Yep.
And you came up with...
Bruce Jenner was on the first page of Google search.
As a female or a he-male?
Oh, before the surgery.
So as a kind of a tweener.
The tweener, yeah.
Well, that's what he looks like. He's transitioning, Tom Brady. This is sad. You know, you talk about Colin Kaepernick and his rights and everything. What about Tom Brady's rights? Why does Colin Kaepernick get the right of his stupid free speech? And Tom Brady does not have the right to not have his cell phone searched in the quest for the most idiotic crime ever conceived in the history of the NFL. Oh, poor Tom Brady. He's really falling apart. I think he's trying to out-handsome Jimmy Garoppolo, too, because I'm hearing from my gal pal Breezy Boo. Gets very moist in the legs when she sees a picture of Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's a handsome fella.
Yeah. So maybe that's going... I mean, Tom Brady's in his 40s now. He follows my dietary regimen. That's why he looks so great. Many people don't know I'm 72, and they say, wow, you look like you're 40. There's a reason for that. It's the diet, it's the exercise, and the willingness to look like a cute he-she every once in a while. I'm not against it. Now, I don't have hair. I'm a bald guy. I think I am in a unique position to criticize hairstyles because I don't have any emotional attachment to one.
Well, you can pull off the bald look. You're like a black guy. Black guys and Larry Wax can pull off the bald look.
I am part black.
Well, yeah, from the waist down.
Yeah. What are you saying? I have a good skull?
Yes. Yes, you have a good round skull, and it just makes sense for you to be bald. Now, had I seen you with hair before, I might have a biased opinion.
That's why I'm in a good position to objectively judge a man's hairstyle.
Right.
So I don't have one of my own. So if somebody has a hairstyle I don't like that I wouldn't wear, I tend to be biased against his hairstyle. But because I have no hairstyle at all, I'm amoral when it comes to hair.
You're independent.
I'm independent.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm independent of the hair regime. And so I'm in a great position to say that Tom Brady looks like a fool.
Might be easy on the helmet, though. Think about the sides. They look kind of shaved.
Well, if you were playing.
Yeah. That's true.
I could see your point, but he's not playing.
First 4 weeks. It's going to kill a lot of fantasy drafts.
You know, I'm going to draft him out of protest. If Colin Kaepernick can act like an a-hole in front of our flag, why can't I look like an a-hole in front of my fantasy football league for a cause? Yeah, nobody's going to take him.
No.
But you don't want to take him, and you know, there's always going to be some idiot in your league who's going to take him. Like, I'm really going to go full retard here and take Tom Brady first round. First available quarterback. No, you don't want to do that, but he will drop, and then you grab him. I don't know, with this haircut now, it's making me rethink my approach to Tom Brady in fantasy football. I mean, I don't know where he's at. I don't know where his head's at. His head's been messed with. Like, I identify with him because I, too, am a white all-American male who's an achiever and a striver and keeps a good diet and looks sexy as hell. So I identify with Tom Brady. And as you know, the white American male is being genocided out of existence in America.
Yeah, you sound like Michelle Bachmann.
I know. I get it. We're not held in high esteem in our media and government. So
Tom Brady's been under attack since this whole thing popped off. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. Why is he under attack? And to see this just kills me.
It's not helping his brand. He's wearing his brand as a sweatshirt, TB12 here.
Well, that's a nice little hoodie. A little too girlish. The hood is one of those little tiny, those tiny hoods that the hookers on Instagram wear.
It does look like a Bieber. Getting back to it, looks like a Bieber hoodie.
Yeah.
Something he'd wear on stage.
Yeah. Oh, this is very sad.
It's unsettling because he's supposed to be the face of the NFL. And Goodell, that crook, has just made him out to be a scumbag.
You think he's a crook, Goodell?
Yeah, I do.
What do you mean? Like, did he steal something? Or
let me give you an example of why I think that. Because back when Ray Rice beat the crap out of his wife, they had private meetings before the media got a hold of the video and the story.
Yeah.
And he was going to go through this arbitration process, go to classes, anger management, so on and so forth.
Ray Rice or Roger Goodell?
Ray Rice.
I think Roger Goodell should have joined him.
Yes.
Maybe that would have helped things. He seems angry.
Well, and then the media gets a hold of it, and he changes his tune and suspends him indefinitely.
Yeah. That doesn't make him a crook, maybe a hypocrite or a politician.
Well, once you hand out a punishment, you got to stick by it, right? You can't change it because other people find out.
I think if you run the NFL, you can do whatever you want. There's no legal precedent. It's not the government yet.
Yeah, there should be a moral standard, though. If he's the daddy of the NFL and he's handing out punishments to his kids, which are the players and the coaches.
His job is to mete out whatever the owners want. It's not a social justice warrior, the NFL commissioner. He's just a puppet of the owners and whatever their hedge fund billionaire owners think the way the world should run.
I think Goodell was probably one of the most hated men in sports.
Well, I think Tom Brady. I just pity Tom Brady. There's nothing but pity.
He has a hot wife, though. Got to give him that.
From my heart and from my hands, why don't people understand my intent?
I'm in Wen's world, and I love it.
Weird.
Yep, weird science time, and back with Reasons to Believe's very own Dr. Fuzz Rana. How are you, Dr. Fuzz?
I'm doing great, Joey. How are you?
Oh, so good, so good. So the age-old question, is man simply a meat robot? So in other words, is there anything more to us than just the flesh and makes us unique from the animal kingdom?
Yeah, well, I think human beings are not only biological, not only physical, but I think we also are spiritual beings as well, that there's a brain that we have, a mind which I think is distinct from the brain, and then a spiritual makeup as well, that there's three aspects to human beings.
So what differentiates the mind from the brain what differentiates the mind and the brain?
Well, I see the brain as being basically I see the brain as basically being analogous to computer hardware, and I see the mind being like computer software, and that both the hardware and the software in a computer system have to be intact, and they have to be integrated with each other to function, but they're distinct entities. And likewise, I see the brain as being the hardware that is necessary for us to perform advanced cognitive properties and operations. But I see the mind, again, as like the software, distinct from the brain, non-physical, but both have to be in place and integrate in order for human beings to function.
There's been a lot of talk recently, as of late in the scientific community, about the quote-unquote God gene. Can you go into that, what that means and what that entails?
Yeah, well, it's not really clear if there really is such a thing as the God gene or a genetic basis really for the faith that we would have in God. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting, in 2005, a geneticist by the name of Dean Hammer claimed he discovered the God gene. And in fact, what he did is he showed that a collection of psychological factors that he called transcendence correlates with a particular version of a gene called the VMAT2 gene. It's essentially a gene that's involved in getting neurotransmitters into the space between neurons. That he saw this correlation, and he claimed that this means that there is a genetic basis for our religious belief, and he dubbed those versions of the VMAT2 gene the God gene. But the fact of the matter is, many people in the scientific community really are highly skeptical about the work that he's done. It's highly controversial. So in my view, nobody's established a clear genetic connection whatsoever between our religious belief and, again, our genetic makeup.
And since you mentioned the disposition to believe in a higher power, or God, as some would say, why is it that human beings can be predisposed to things like alcoholism and drug addiction and not the animal kingdom?
Yeah, well, I think it is true that there are, these genetic predispositions that we have. For example, a few years ago, a team of neuroscientists discovered that particular versions of a gene that code for an enzyme called monoamine oxidase A actually will predict whether or not people are likely to engage in violent behavior. So in prisons, a lot of violent criminals have this particular version of the gene. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't guarantee that behavior. There are people with versions of that gene that don't behave in violent ways, and people that don't have that gene that do behave in violent ways. So, our genetic makeup, again, might predispose us to certain things, but it doesn't predict 100% that we will behave in that way.
So how much of that could be defended in a court case? Let's say somebody was predisposed to violent behavior. Why not hold them responsible for the crime, right?
Yeah, well, I still think that people do have volitional choices at play. And in fact, that would not be the best defense that you could bring to the table, because let's say you convince the jury that this person had no control over their behavior.
Right.
And so therefore they're not guilty. But then that also means that person can never be trusted in society because they have no control over their behavior. And so it's really not the best defense in my view. It's better to say people really are responsible for their behavior no matter what their genetic disposition is.
And again, if you're just joining us, we are with Reasons to Believe. Dr. Fuz Rana, found on Twitter at RTB_FRANA. So what is it about human beings that has still evaded the scientific community?
Well, it's ultimately our consciousness, that we have this self-awareness, this, sometimes it's called sentience, that doesn't seem to be physical in nature, that we cannot exactly define what it is, but we know that we display consciousness as human beings, and we can't explain its origin in evolutionary terms. And so we don't know where that particular property would emanate from in the brain. There's been a number of proposals, none of them cash out. And so that's something that the scientific community simply cannot explain, is basically human consciousness.
So when it comes to nurture, nature, and the supernatural, do those complement each other oftentimes, or are they kind of in a constant conflict within society?
No, I think they actually complement each other. As human beings, biologically speaking, we're a product of both our genes and the environment. It's not one or the other. It's both in combination. And I would say as human beings, not only are its genes in the environment, but there's a spiritual makeup as well. And that spiritual makeup, I think, can interact with our mind, with our brain, with our body. And so we really are properly understood as human beings as, I think, an integrated whole, if you will, where we have a physical aspect to us and a mind which is non-physical, I think, and a spiritual aspect as well that I think may even transcend the dimensions of the universe.
Man, this is just such fascinating stuff. We've been talking about Levi's and Wranglers with reasons to believe at RTB_FRANA. Dr. Fuzz, thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate you here in Wynns World.
Thank you, Joey, for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Take care.
Excellent!
Hey, this is the Deeds, the sales energizer. And like you, I'm in Wynns World. It's a frightening place, but we're here. This is what I want you to do. Listen to the show, the whole show. And then when you're done, go to my website, remedysalesmatch.com. Fill out the subscription form for the newsletter, and I will send you a free book that's going to change your life. The Hitchhiker's Guide to Guaranteed Success. Do it after the show.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.